Hello. In your video and subsequent text replies, you have refused to acknowledge that what I have pointed out. So I will go over it again in this video before I go on to deal with the ontological argument. In what you have said, you have claimed that atheists disingenuously demand an ontological argument. This, in fact, is different than what atheists are actually demanding. An ontological argument is an attempt to use rational support for the existence of God, whereas atheists are demanding an affirmative ontology. An affirmative ontology is a definition of anything in existence that consists of three things: a primary attribute, or what it is, descriptive characteristics, or what it is like, and relational attributes, how it affects, where it is, what it's related to compared to something else. For nearly everything in existence, we have a pretty damn good idea of what it is, or what it appears to be. For a God, on the other hand, there exists no known affirmative primary attribute. Therefore, there is no ontology for a God. That said, your statement is a straw man or a red herring argument, because you have redefined what atheists are asking for. That said, let's go on. Anselm of Canterbury devised an argument that uses a reduction to absurdity principle used in formal logic. This sort of reduction is used to disprove propositions because it leads to impossible conclusions. For instance, an even prime number greater than 2, which is impossible, shows that it could not exist. Here is a broken down version of the ontological argument. Statement 1 states that God is something that nothing greater can be thought of, which takes the reader's maximum conceptual abilities of a being and calls it God. Statement 2 states that this being may exist in the mind alone. Statement 3 states that it is greater to exist in reality than it is to exist in the mind alone. And Statement 4 jumps to the conclusion that God exists given the first three premises. This argument has never once addressed what God is beyond a mental construct or an idea. What the ontological argument attempts to do is to compare a concept with the tangible on a scale of quantification, then stating that because the tangible has more substance than the concept, the tangible is more plausible. So mathematically, it would look like this. This is a logically impossible statement, specifically because the concept of infinity is not a defined number in the first place. The ontological argument is in the same boat. The argument is logically incoherent in that it compares two things, one measurable and the other not. It attempts to place them both on a ruler, finds that one is immeasurable, and concludes that the measurable quantity is the only possibility, making this a false dichotomy and the entire argument an existential logical fallacy. The conclusion is only possible if all the precedents are on the same page. Precedents. But they aren't. A concept cannot be measured by the same criteria as something physically in existence. Therefore, to ask an atheist to refute the ontological argument is, in fact, the disingenuous position, because a logically incoherent formula such as this is impossible to solve. Therefore, mathematically, it is considered a false statement. Otherwise, it opens the door for everything ever thought of, including Zeus, Baal, Mithra, Dionysus, Amun-Ra, the Easter Bunny, and, of course, the flying spaghetti monster. There is your refutation. We're done.